So, our last step here is simply to summarize what we did and why it works. So, the first thing we do, if we have our the example we've been using, VVOG and GOVG, is that we remove the letters at the same place from both. So we're left with just VVO and GOV. Then you count the number of times you have each letter from ROY GBV in these two leftover words. Then you take the minimum value at each position to get two lists of numbers, and the lists basically have numbers throughout that tell you how many times each letter shows up in your word, and in this case the words are VVO and GOV. And then once you take the minimum value at each position, you get a new list of values which you can combine through addition to get one number. The reason that that one number tells you what's out of place is that we started by removing what was in the same place. So now we're only left with things that could be out of place. Then you have to count the number of times each letter appears so that you can start comparing which letters actually occur in both of these, because that's the only way you can find the ones that are out of place. And then you take the minimum, because if something has a zero, that means it doesn't show up in one of your in either your code or your guess, right? So in the G position, for example, we have a 1 for the guess here, but we have a 0 for the code. And we take the 0 because that tells us the code does not have a G, and therefore it cannot be one of the out of place letters. Now, the V shows up in both of these, but we take the minimum because the guess only has one V, whereas the code has two Vs. But only one of these Vs is out of place because the other V is it's extra. It only occurs in the code and not the guess. So that's the reason that when you take the minimums and get this new list, and then you combine them into one, you get the total number of out of place letters. These ones represent one letter that is out of place, and then you combine them together to get the total number of letters that is out of place. So if you use that algorithm, you can end up with the number of out of place or the out of place positions from your code and your guess, and it's easier to build up this algorithm if you use your occurrences block and your keep out of place block that you made earlier in the home. Good luck.